We believe that knowledge must be shared and connected. This is why we created Uniminds, the biggest Slovenian online festival created to connect academia and industry. Here, you can find partners and ideas for your challenges and see how the industry and academia can join forces to build a smarter, healthier, and sustainable future. The first editions of the Uniminds showed us the values we need to follow in order to be successful.
Focus is important, especially for a small country like Slovenia is, and to have this shared vision where we want to play and where we want to be really the best.
Failure is not necessarily a sign of weakness. It's an opportunity to learn, to go on, and then try again and be successful.
Openness really helps, and people who are more open, they sort of succeed.
It is essential if we as professors want our research to have impact, if we want to work on relevant projects.
So do not miss the third edition of Uniminds. The festival will take place online from the 8th to the 10th of November, featuring an interdisciplinary program with best innovation practices of Slovenian EIT hubs, insight into world innovation trends, and Slovenian frontrunners. For additional information and past events, visit the festival website. We look forward to innovate together.
Vlaganje v znanost krepi družbeno blaginjo. Študije dokazujejo, da vsak evro vložen v znanost na dolgi rok predstavlja večkratnik dodane vrednosti za gospodarstvo.
Znanost ima ključno vlogo za razvoj razsvetljene družbe. Zato prepoznavamo in nagrajujemo najboljše dosežke v znanosti. Zoisove nagrade, Zoisova priznanja, Puhove nagrade, Puhova priznanja in priznanja ambasadorja znanosti. Brez napora ni znanosti.
Odgovorna znanost svoje rezultate komunicira z javnostjo. Skupnostjo za skupnost. Znanost je temelj družbe znanja in ponuja odgovore na globalne družbene izzive.
Oblikovanje vseh politik naj temelji na znanju. Družbeno-politična vprašanja postajajo vedno bolj kompleksna, zato mora biti znanost temelj sprejemanja vseh političnih odločitev.
Pomembno se je zavedati in prepoznati pomen in učinke znanosti. Kako pa znanost vpliva na vaša življenja? Spoznajmo moč znanosti preko raznolikih dogodkov.
Brez znanosti ni prihodnosti.
Vsako jesen organiziramo različne dogodke za promocijo slovenske znanosti, ki smo jih poimenovali Mesec znanosti.
Pridruži se dogodkom Meseca znanosti tudi ti.
Hello, and welcome to the third day of the third edition of the Uniminds Festival. The mission of the festival Uniminds is to strengthen industry-academia partnership and grow to innovation community within and with Slovenia in general. And in this session, with the focus on raw materials. My name is Andrei, and chairing this session feels special to me. Europe's manufacturing sector to remain globally competitive and for the continent to speed up its transition to the resource-efficient, sustainable society. Imports of raw materials are essential because we do not have other option, or do we? Today, Europe produces only a small percentage of the most important raw materials. However, this can be altered by implementing a circular economy strategy that emphasizes the development of the new recycling, substitution, processing, mining, and exploration technologies. Raw material development into a major strength for Europe is essential to achieving the goals of the European Green Deal. European Institute for Innovation and Technology founded EIT Raw Materials to become the world's largest innovation community along the entire value chain in the raw material sector. Due to the Raw Material Annual Conference, the keynote was pre-recorded. The keynote will be given by Krzysztof Kubacki, CEO at EIT Raw Materials Innovation Hub East. After the keynote, I invite you at 12 to the next session, Fireside Chat with Slovenian frontrunners in raw materials, featuring two distinguished ladies.
Good morning. My name is Krzysztof Kubacki, and I have the pleasure to address you all at the Uniminds Festival in Slovenia today. Uniminds, at its core, has the fantastic theme of innovating together, a theme that very much resonates with our mission at EIT Raw Materials. As a knowledge and innovation community under the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, we are deeply committed to fostering innovation, especially here in Slovenia and other parts of Eastern and Southeastern Europe, where we have a very active community of partners, interesting projects which are being implemented across innovation, education, and business creation. And last but not least, successful regional innovation scheme, which I will speak about in more detail later. EIT Raw Materials drives innovation across the raw materials value chain, from exploration and extraction of minerals and metals to recycling and circular economy, because a sustainable and secure raw materials industry is necessary to deliver on the goals of the European Green Deal and achieve climate neutrality for Europe by 2050. We are the leading raw materials consortium in the world, and we have 6 innovation hubs across Europe, with further local presence through our risk hubs, such as the Regional Center Adria in Ljubljana, Slovenia. We have more than 300 members covering the entire raw materials value chain, from exploration and mining, through processing and refining, to recycling of raw materials at their end of life and reusing them in the concept of circular economy. Our vision is to make raw materials a major strength for Europe, so the continent can achieve climate neutrality by transitioning to a green, digital, and circular economy. These transitions are only possible with vast quantities of raw materials to build the necessary batteries, solar panels, wind turbines, or electric vehicles, and the list goes on. In fact, if you look at the recent data, such as that from the World Bank, it has reported that the meeting clean energy targets will increase demand for many metals and minerals by 500 to as many as 1,000% by 2050. These are quite staggering numbers, and we are therefore faced with an unprecedented demand for sustainable raw materials, including, crucially, domestically produced raw materials, to truly transition to a clean energy continent by the 2050 deadline. Many of these raw materials are being imported to Europe today, and in many cases, we are strongly dependent on sourcing these raw materials from geopolitically risky jurisdictions. In order to be more sustainable and also independent, this situation has to change. One of very important areas for improvement is that of innovation in our sector. Significant and deep innovations across the raw materials value chain are urgently needed, and it is a huge part of our mission at EIT Raw Materials to drive, support, and fund this innovation. And we are seeing success and deep innovation is taking root, not least here in this part of Europe under our Regional Innovation Scheme, which is a key focus of the EIT Raw Materials strategic agenda. Our risk scheme has supported 48 projects to date with over 55 million euro in funding. Let me provide you here with some specific examples. The risk internship program is the first example, and it's also the first of its kind in Eastern and Southeastern Europe, where it features 20 universities recruiting 400 students who are participating in internships in 300 different companies from the raw materials sector. The scheme matches the best young talent in the raw materials sector with relevant companies and startups and aims to enhance innovation and employment opportunities. It not only involves EIT Raw Materials partners, but a far broader group of companies who are active in this region in the resource sector. This program addresses the so often lacking combination of theoretical knowledge gained during university studies with practical experience that needs to be obtained alongside this, so the knowledge can be applied and better understood by the students. At the same time, the participating companies are able to identify and pre-select future talent early. So this is a very valuable collaboration between universities and industry involving future workforce. It is very much at the forefront of EIT Raw Materials activities. Applications for both students and organizations for the RIS internship program are open and will remain open until December 2024, when this program is running. Together with our partners, we can highly recommend the RIS internship program to you and would encourage your participation in it. Another education offering, which is in our portfolio, is the Skills for Future program. It is engaging thousands of students in entrepreneurship education. Our target is to reach as many as 10,000 students. The education program supported by EIT center around innovation and entrepreneurship, so Skills for Future is a good example of the latter being at its core. Another program centered around entrepreneurship is the Girls Go Circular scheme. It is equipping young women with digital and entrepreneurial skills and competencies. This program is being rolled out across 10 RIS countries and aims to reach 40,000 young women by 2027. Those are some of the examples of our education activities, but EIT Raw Materials also supports new business in the metals and minerals sector. We have several programs targeting idea holders, entrepreneurs, startups, and small and medium-sized enterprises. We also work with local ecosystems to reach as many interested players in this field as possible. In this area of business creation, we pay special attention to the risk countries, where such ecosystems are not always so well established. Through a dedicated risk entrepreneurship program, we have already established such cooperation with 9 startup incubators in 9 different risk countries, including in Slovenia. And more than 60 startups so far have applied for EIT Raw Materials business creation and support programs through this cooperation. These programs, which include the Jump Starter, Accelerator, and Booster schemes, all provide raw materials focused entrepreneurs, startups, and SMEs with tailored training, funding, and access to our pan-European network of leading raw materials players. Since 2015, we have promoted more than 300 startups, raising a total of 160 million euros. And we have supported also over 170 innovations being brought to the market. Our business creation programs are open throughout the year, and we would encourage you to find out more about them and connect with us if you are interested. Apart from education and business creation, EIT Raw Materials focuses on supporting innovation projects across the entire value chain of the metals and minerals production. We support innovation in exploration and extraction, processing and refining, as well as in recycling and reuse of these raw materials. We believe that one of the key ingredients for success in innovation is the engagement of the different sides of what we call the knowledge triangle: academia, research, and industry. Throughout the recent years, we have supported several projects which were led by our Slovenian partners. We have had the privilege of working with very active groups from Slovenia that have represented all sides of this so-called knowledge triangle. Whether it is the University of Ljubljana, Geological Survey of Slovenia, research groups like ZAG or Institute Josef Stefan, and the companies like Magneti Ljubljana, Collector or Iskra. One can be said of all of them: high level of professionalism and very partner-like approach to work on innovation is always there when working with our Slovenian colleagues. I would like to provide you with at least one example where the original idea comes from the University of Ljubljana. This year, we have started supporting the work of the consortium, which also includes Iskra, a company from Kranj, and ZAG Institute from Ljubljana. Together, they work on developing a new aluminum alloy, which will be 30% lighter, and therefore, in the production process, will consume much less energy. Such innovations are absolutely crucial in our transition to green circular economy. While it is still in the development phase and there are challenges ahead, I do hope that this and other innovations will prove to be successful. EIT Raw Materials will always support such projects and help them reach the market entry stage. Those previously mentioned activities are part of the key offering of EIT Raw Materials in education, business creation, and innovation. Now, however, I would like to focus on the raw materials sector in Southeastern Europe in a little more detail. This region has always been a vibrant hub for upstream and midstream activities of the raw materials industry. Exploration, mining, mineral and metallurgical processing of copper, zinc, silver, or nickel, amongst others, had been present in this part of Europe for centuries. The countries that used to form Yugoslavia still today have a very strong sectors in metals and minerals. Despite all the challenges to discover new deposits and develop new projects, there has also been visible positive progress in this field. One such example is the construction of the Vares silver, zinc, and lead project in Bosnia, with an annual projected production of 15 million ounces of silver equivalent planned to start next year. Both Serbia and Bosnia are also well endowed with lithium resources, which are critical in our path to battery production for electromobility. There is almost no primary production of lithium in Europe today, and if we want to secure stable supply of this mineral to our new industry, we must make sure that sufficient amount of this supply comes from the European sources. There are obviously challenges ahead to develop them in a sustainable manner, but Europe can well demonstrate that such projects are being developed to very high standards, which we are all well familiar with. There is also the downstream industry, which is just as important in the raw materials value chain. Again, Slovenia is home to a very unique ecosystem of magnet production and inside knowledge in this field. However, this sector is also relatively small on a global scale and needs strong institutional and financial support to develop and grow if it is to contribute to the green transition. Magneti Ljubljana and Collector from the industry side and Institute Josef Stefan from the research field in Slovenia are some of the few permanent magnet producers and knowledge holders in Europe which have the ability to build a higher supply base for the European end users. Based on these few examples, you can see that there is a wealth of positive actions and numerous opportunities in this region which we can build upon. European raw materials sector at large is in a very pivotal moment today. On the one hand, there is the growing understanding and institutional support to the sector, which is supposed to create investment opportunities and turn the European economy from high import dependence into more sustainable domestic supply. On the other, the geopolitical factors, as well as economic turmoil with the rising energy prices, put immediate pressure on the producers, especially those in processing and metallurgy. Despite these challenges we face, we cannot allow the momentum to slip, and we must be able to tackle the ongoing challenges. To lead Europe out of this crisis, European capacities must be promoted and built immediately without any hesitation. This must be done with a long-term strategy, with political support in place to trigger investments in primary and secondary raw materials production. In addition to ensuring a level playing field, European and national measures must be implemented. Those can be like the carbon border tax, implementation of food traceability, disclosures on all metals and produced products, shortening permitting times, and more. We therefore must pledge to commit to immediate action that forecasts for long-term raw material and diversification requirements. Today, Europe imports a staggering 98% of rare earths or 93% of magnesium from China. At the same time, 98% of borates are coming from Turkey. This means that Europe is supporting environmental and labor practices in these countries that are in stark conflict with European values and ESG ambitions. The good thing is, however, there are still opportunities, and Europe has all the means to build a modern and sustainable resource industry, making our continent more self-sufficient and competitive, and at the same time less vulnerable, while creating thousands of new jobs that contribute to the defined climate change targets. There exist many critical and strategic raw materials in Europe, both in primary and secondary sources. Significant part of that mineral potential comes from Southeastern Europe. There are also numerous advanced projects which can be executed in the near term. For example, if you look at the rare earth permanent magnet field, by implementing identified and evaluated investment cases along the value chain of this sector, at least 20% of the projected EU demand for these materials by 2030 could be covered here domestically, and the EU magnet production output would increase by a factor of 15. These are the findings of the European Raw Materials Alliance, which is managed by us, EIT Raw Materials. The European Commission has recently opened a call for evidence and open public consultation for the Critical Raw Materials Act. This reflects the crucial importance of our mission to make raw materials into a major strength for Europe on the political and economic agenda of the European Commission. As Europe's largest consortium on raw materials, we are playing an important role in this process, and ensuring the critical voice of the raw materials industry is being heard. We can build on all of this potential in Europe, and we can enhance our innovation and tech capabilities to achieve a green reindustrialization of Europe and strengthen our global competitiveness. In conclusion, let me say, we are facing the challenge of implementing the biggest energy and industrial transition in the history of humankind under a ticking climate clock. And sustainable, secure raw materials industry is vital to deliver on this. Southeastern Europe has a pivotal role in regaining the balance of raw materials security in Europe it also once had. EIT Raw Materials will continue to expand our innovation activities and continue to offer greatest opportunities in this region to support this. I encourage you to keep up to date with our work and with the opportunities we will continue to offer in this region, so that we can innovate together to create a green, digital, resilient, and strategically autonomous Europe. Thank you very much for your attention, and it was a pleasure to meet with you today.
I would like to thank to Mr. Kubatsky for his speech and invite all participants to second part of this session at 12 o'clock, so in 3 minutes. There will be fireside chat with Slovenian frontrunners in raw material featuring 2 distinguished ladies. See you.